Was good, y'all. For most of the season now, the OKC Thunder have been one of the best teams across the entire league. As of today, they sit at a record of 41-18, which is second in the West, only one game behind the first-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. They're third in offensive rating, fifth in defensive rating, second in net rating, and one of two teams that are top 5 in both offensive and defensive rating. It's the OKC Thunder and the widely favorited Boston Celtics. When you see a team that is this dominant on both sides of the floor, you usually would assume they are championship contenders. They are, the top of their conference. But for some reason with the OKC Thunder, people aren't really talking about them like that. And if you go throughout NBA history, there are a few staples that pretty much every single championship team has. So I want to go through, look at the OKC Thunder, and see if they qualify as a true championship contender. The first thing that all of these teams has is a superstar player, a player that is borderline top 10 in the entire league. The only championship that I can think of that didn't have this was the Detroit Pistons when they had, Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace, all those guys. They're kind of the outlier, but if you look throughout pretty much every single other one, they have a top 10 player. And luckily for the OKC Thunder, they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is solidifying himself as a superstar. Shai was All-NBA first team last season, and he has taken a step up this year being an MVP candidate. He's putting up crazy numbers, 31 points, 6 rebounds, 6.5 assists. And what I think makes Shai so special is he is one of the best players in the entire league at knowing where he wants to go with the ball and getting to his spots. And that plays a major role in how he is shooting 55% from the field as a guard and a jump shot heavy guard as well. He loves to operate in the mid-range, get to the rim, of course, as well, the free throw line. He, again, knows where he wants to rise up from, gets to that spot, and then goes over the defense. And I know three-level scorer kind of gets just thrown around in the NBA now, but I really do think that Shai is one of the most efficient three-level scorers in the NBA. When it comes to finishing at the rim, he's shooting 74% on rim shots. When it's that floater push shot range right there, he's shooting 49% on those. 51% in the mid-range, 51% in the long mid-range. He really can do it all. And, the three-point shot really isn't in his bag too much. He still is shooting 39% from there, though, on low volume for sure, but he knows what shots to take. He's incredible at taking those step back off the dribble threes when it's just, kind of like a pound dribble step back, raise over. And for some reason, when he's in the clutch, it seems like it goes up even more. Also, from the corner, he shoots 57% from three on the corner. He doesn't shoot a lot of them, but when he's in that corner, you cannot help off of him. And for Shai, he's not just an offensive superstar. He is one of the league's best two-way superstars. He's leading the league in steals at 2.1, almost averaging a full block as well at that guard position. And, he is a good on-ball defender, but where he really shines is off the ball. He is in those passing lanes. He knows when to help and give a little swipe. He's got really fast hands, really good hands. He's just a two-way demon. So OKC checks off that superstar box. The next category that most championship teams has is a top-level offense. I mentioned before they have a top 5 offense. Shai being their superstar and being such an efficient scorer is a big reason of that great offense. Another big reason, though, is J-Dub, Jalen Williams. He is also, like Shai, a super efficient scorer. J-Dub is breaking out in his sophomore year, averaging 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists. And he was super efficient as a rookie, but as a sophomore, the numbers got even better. He's shooting 54% from the field and 45% from three. I would have never guessed that he would take that big of a jump from three. Compared to his rookie season, he is shooting over 9% better from three. That is a huge jump, and he is also taking a higher volume. That's not the only part of his game that he has really increased on, though. His mid-range game, he's taken a lot more mid-ranges and shooting a lot better from them as well. He just all around looks so much more comfortable out there as a jump shooter and as a scorer in general. I think that's a big reason on why Mark Daigneault has found the confidence to give him that secondary ball handler opportunities. Josh Giddey last season, he was mainly the secondary ball handler. If it wasn't Shai, mostly it was Josh Giddey. Now J-Dub has taken on that responsibility where he is bringing up the ball a lot, getting into offensive sets. And everything I just mentioned isn't even bringing up his best part of his game, and that is in transition. He is a monster in transition, whether it's a pull-up three, just running the lanes, knowing where to be, finishing at the rim, being the passer off the transition. He really can just do it all. He is a one-man fast break. Of course, they do have other guys that are attributing to their great offense. Guys like Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace, even Lou Dort's having an offensive career year. We'll get to talking about them a little bit later in the video, but another big check mark for the OKC Thunder. The next category that majority of NBA championship teams have is a great defense. And again, like I mentioned at the top of the video, they have a top 5 defense anchored by Chet Holmgren. I just want to come out here and apologize to Chet Holmgren that he has to be in the same rookie class as Victor Wembanyama, because if Vic was not in this class, Chet Holmgren would by far be Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately for him though, Victor Wembanyama is looking like the best rookie since LeBron James. And before we get into the defensive monster that Chet is, I do want to highlight his offense really quick. While we were just talking about offense, in his rookie season right now, he is averaging 17 points per game, 8 rebounds, 3 assists on incredible efficiencies, just like the other 2 players we've talked about. He's shooting 54% from the field and 40% from 3 as a 7-footer. And what makes Chet so effective as a scorer is the fact that he is so complementary to his other 2 co-stars of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams. Both of those guys really are on-ball scorers. They are best when the ball is in their hands. Chet Holmgren, though, is a prolific off-the-ball scorer. When it comes to catch and shoot threes, he is shooting almost 42% on 4 attempts per game. Also, as a screener, he is one of the best screen and roll guys or screen and pop guys in the NBA. He's averaging 1.3 points per possession as a screener, which is 5th in the entire NBA with at least 2.5 screen possessions per game. And we were just talking about the 3-point threat that he is. So he sets the screen, can pop out, get the catch and shoot, 42% like I just mentioned. But also, he is such a dangerous lob threat. He is super athletic where he can just jump up, use all 7'1", 7'2" of him to just reach out. And even if it's not a yam, he has incredible touch on those to lay it up. One of the best lob threats already in the league. But that is besides the point. We're here to talk about his greatest strength, and that is his defensive capabilities. He is one of the best shot blockers in the league already. Again, as a rookie, he's averaging 2.6 blocks per game, which is 4th in the league. Chet really has no fear when it comes to contesting at the rim or going up for block shots. He doesn't care if he gets dunked on. He has already got dunked on countless of times, but he has blocked a lot more shots than he has gotten dunked on. And luckily for him, he is surrounded by a lot of other capable defenders, guys like SGA or J-Dub or Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Kenrich Williams, Aaron Wiggins. I can go on and on and on about the versatile defensive-minded guys that OKC has. So for those of you playing along at home, superstar, check. Good offense, check. Good defense, check. There is one more major category that I think that almost every single championship level team has, and that is good coaching. Mark Daigneault, if you ask me, is by far easily the coach of the year this season. No one expected OKC to be this good, and they are sitting here at the top of the West, at the 2 seed, 1 game behind the number 1 seed. It's Mark Daigneault. He is coach of the year. One of the things that I really value when I look at coaching and how good a coach is how can they maximize their roster. For example, if you look at Taylor Jenkins of the Memphis Grizzlies, the Grizzlies have been dealing with injuries and suspensions and guys in and out of the lineup all season. But when you watch the Grizzlies games, you see them competing. They're in, close games a lot of the times. They've been able to pull out some really tough games as well, make some comebacks, all of that. That shows to me how good of a coach Taylor Jenkins is. He's able to maximize the players, put players in spots where he knows where they can succeed. And I think that's exactly what Mark Daigneault is doing in OKC this season. There are countless OKC players that are having career years. Not to mention the top 3 guys that I already have talked about in this video, but guys like Lou Dort, he's averaging a calm 10 points per game. He's playing defense as always. But what jumps out to me is he is shooting a career high from the field and from 3, 44% from the field and 40% from 3. I don't know about you guys, I never thought I would live in a world where Lou Dort is shooting 40% from 3. A big reason for that, though, is his downtick in offensive workload. He's shooting the lowest amount of attempts per game since his rookie season. Mark has been able to empower Lou Dort while being this great defensive stopper. and still getting his shots off, but at a lower volume, increasing that efficiency. Cason Wallace, who was a later lottery pick this year as a rookie, is shooting incredibly, 51% from the field and 41% from three. That doesn't happen on accident. Isaiah Joe is having a career year as well, shooting career high numbers, 43% from three. He has been a spark plug off the bench for them. Aaron Wiggins, he is shooting an astonishing 57% from the field and 51% from three. All of these role players do not play this efficient and score this efficiently by accident. Mark Daigneault knows the players' strengths, knows where to put them in the offense, knows how to integrate them to this team and get the most out of them. So far we have 4 big check marks on all of these super important categories. You may be thinking, all right, they should obviously be a contender. What is the big issue here? And their biggest issue is experience. That is another pretty big check mark that they do not have checked off. The average age of their rotation is only 24.1 years old. That is including Gordon Hayward, who's 33, and Kenrich Williams, who's 29. That just shows how young this team is. And when you talk about playoff experience, their roster has very, very little. Shea has been in 2 playoff series, one as a rookie with the Clippers, where he wasn't really anything. He was more of a role player at that point. And then also in the Chris Paul year, where the OKC Thunder made the playoffs. But still, Shea was not a number 1 option. He was not the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander we see right now. So he effectively has no playoff experience. Lou Dort is in that category. He had a similar role back then to what he has now, so you can still count him, I guess, as a playoff experienced guy. They did go out and trade for Gordon Hayward at this trade deadline, who Gordon, he hasn't done anything crazy in OKC yet. He's still kind of getting accustomed to this new offense, the new team and everything. But he does have playoff experience, which is good, both in Utah when he was the guy, and then with the Celtics where he was more of a role player and, a secondary, tertiary type of guy. So to answer the question, are the OKC Thunder a championship contending team? I think it really comes down to how heavily you weigh experience and playoff experience with that. My most likely outcome for the Thunder this playoffs is the Western Conference Finals. I think that they can make it all the way there. But if they make it all the way to the conference finals, at that point, they could just be rolling super confident, and then they could make the finals, win the championship, all of that. So to really put a final answer on it, I do believe that the OKC Thunder are championship contenders this season. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think that the Thunder are legit and that they can win a championship? Or do you think that they're just not experienced, they're too young, and it's not their season yet? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description, there's links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch y'all.